you scored your first goal and made your debut. Like, how was that?
Yeah, it was good. My debut was away at Mansfield. I came on for Pelly, and I remember like straight away we had like a free kick in the corner, and the man just told me that just keep it in there, just time waste basically at the
Yeah, I
time.
remember. I remember.
So I was doing that, and then they had a throw in. It was only like 5 minutes left, so like they had a throw in. I've won the header for the throw in, and then I've had a 50-50,
Yeah.
tackled one guy. Then after that 50-50, I've gone in. I'm in for another 50-50, tackled that guy, and then I was, but like, so I was like, obviously, I was just gassed, like,
Yeah,
had loads, and that. So that was basically all I did, like the rest of that game. And then obviously, like the manager was buzzing because I just won two 50-50s, and he was
yeah.
like he was pleased with me and stuff. And then, but in one of those 50-50s, I injured my knee.
So
But at the time, I was just like, I was so happy.
adrenaline is mad, innit?
I didn't even really. I knew I hurt it, but it wasn't like it wasn't enough for me to stop playing. I didn't notice that much. But then came in on the Monday, and I was like, my knee doesn't feel right, and I was like, what the hell? I've just made my debut. Like, no, this can't be happening. And we had a youth cup game, FA Youth Cup game against Preston. Was it Preston? Yeah, against no. We had a youth cup game against Oldham, and my knee just didn't feel right. It was so sore, but it was like we were getting close to like the last 16. Might have been like by then, and I was like, yeah, I think it was the 5th round, and I was like, well, I have to play. So I've played through it, but my knee was just in agony. It wasn't right. I shouldn't have played at all. Played the game. We won the game away at Oldham, and then like we come back, and I said, look, there's something not right with my knee. I need someone to look at it. So I get a scan, and they come back and say, you're gonna need an op. But I've gone out running. No, I've gone out for the warm up, getting ready to go to Preston, because we had Preston in the FA Youth Cup like a week later. So I've gone out warming up, and then physio comes sprinting out after he's got the results. Like, you can't get off the pitch now. You can't be doing that. So I'm like, what are you talking about? He was like, come here, like, you've got to have an operation. You've done torn something or whatever on your knee. And then I was just like I've just gone from like the biggest high to like, and I was just like, I was devastated. I just couldn't believe it. And like the team was doing so well. We was in the now we're in the last 16 by this point, and I was like, I can't miss that. We are pressing away. So I was like, guys. So then look, he's like, look, we've got to go to London today to see a specialist, just to get another opinion on it, to have a look. So obviously I'm just devastated. Like, we're so close to like getting to the final of this tournament. Yeah. So I'm like, okay. So I just had to get my head around it. I was so hurt, Leroy, you don't understand. Like, that's like the lowest I've been, I think, in football. So then we go to London, see this guy, I can't remember his name, another specialist, and he has a look at my knee, he looks at the scan, he goes, I think you might just need an injection and you should be okay. So I was like, how's it gone? It's gone from a scan to an injection. So I'm a bit like, but I'm taking it straight away, like, yeah, fine, I'll take an injection.
Yeah.
So then we took that advice. I get the injection, and I said, like, so when should I be back? When should it be fixed? And they were like, it'll be about 2 weeks. 2 to 3 weeks after the injection, you should be able to start jogging and stuff. So I was like, okay, so basically, if we win our next 2 games in the FA Youth Cup, I'll be back for the semis.
Yeah.
And now you can see the table, so I know the semis will be Chelsea most probably.
Yeah.
So I'm like, obviously, I support Chelsea, and that's 2 legs, home and away. So I'm thinking,
playing at Stamford, isn't it?
Stamford Bridge. Obviously, my best friend plays for Chelsea. So I'll get to play against my best friend at Stamford Bridge. I'm like, so straight away, I'm on the WhatsApp group chat like, boys, all you got to do is beat Preston and Blackburn, and I'm back. I'm in the semis. So we go to Preston. I go injured. We beat Preston, so I'm buzzing. I'm thinking, now we just got Blackburn. We've got so it's the quarterfinals. Go to play Blackburn away, and we lose 1-0. And I was so gutted. No. But we didn't deserve to lose as well. And Paul Lambert was the manager at the time of Blackburn, the first team. And he came in after the game, and he was like, he went nuts to them and was like, look, you boys definitely deserve to win that. I'm like, he's basically saying, like, I'm sorry, like, you aren't even going through because they didn't deserve to right now, sort of thing.
Right.
And so I was gutted. And then Blackburn played Chelsea in the semis. Got pumped both legs. Like, they didn't even deserve it. And I was gutted, to be fair, because I still think we probably would have lost, but we would have definitely put up a good game.
Hold on, who was in your age group though?
Who was in my age group?
Yeah, who was in that team?
It's me, Tyreek, James Justin, Freddie Hines, Alex Atkinson, Akin Famuo, Jack Sneedus, Cameron Cotter.
You man would have done well still, yeah.
Like Karen McGann, George. Like, we had a good team. We had a good team. We weren't anywhere near. Us like player for player against Chelsea. Like, we weren't anywhere near them. But we would have actually gone both games and tried to give it a go. Whereas like Blackburn, they just tried to like part the bus both legs and just got worked. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like they just wasted the chance to play Chelsea. So like I was just gutted, but yeah. So that was like obviously pretty like I was pretty low then. But then obviously I was back fit not long after when I thought I'd be out for the season. So then I've come back and I'm just with the first team. Made a few more appearances, and then it wasn't too bad. And then it was so that was obviously I was still in the youth team when I made my debut and stuff like that. But then next season, played Gillingham away in the Checker Trade Trophy in the cup. And that's obviously when I scored my first professional goal, and that was that was mad. That was mad still. And even when I watch it back now, it's just funny because obviously like I'm a big Chelsea fan, innit? So I've scored and I'll start doing like Didier Drogba celebration.
This guy.
Straight away, I'm running off and I start doing this. Like when I watch it back now, I'm like, what was I doing?
Bro, but at that moment, like if you thought before you're like gonna do something, it's out the window.
Yeah. Like my head was just obviously gone. Like so, it was just a wicked day. Like we did really well in that year as well in the Checker Trade. We lost in the semi-final. But yeah, it was good. Like obviously those are two like proud moments for me, and like those like it's funny those two moments I've got. Well, in my mum's house, my mum's got photos of both those occasions in the house, which is nice.
That's sick. Hey, talk me through your loan spells. Like just a quick run through. Like how was it and how did it come about, and like how did you feel going to them?
Well, I remember my first one. You would have been there. Do you remember when I went on loan to Hampton and Richmond?
Yeah. I remember. Do you know what's mad? Yeah, I never went on loan.
Didn't you?
Never, bro. I was always on the youth.
Yeah. So obviously I was like 16. John Steele was like, obviously I've trained with the first team quite a bit by then, and I've played a lot of reserve games. Yeah. And he was like, just like, look, I want you to go out on loan. And he would do that to quite a lot of the players, send them out on loan, like the ones that were doing well, but they were never like really to the best levels. And it was like quite tough to sort of do well or be seen, because then you'd come back and need sort of like everyone would sort of seem to forget you when you go on loan. So it was a bit of a mix, because I obviously going away meant I wouldn't be around the manager and the team anymore. So they wouldn't really. Yeah. But anyway, so I went for like a month. Obviously, I didn't drive. I was 16. So there was another player who went on loan there with me, Mark Onyenyua.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And like he used to pick me up and drive me there and back with him to training. And it was good. Like, it was a good experience. I never even played for them. I just literally they never played me. I just trained, and then I came back, and then but like that wasn't really much of a loan. Obviously, I never played, but it was just an experience to meet, because I've never really been in a situation to even meet new players before. Because I've always been at Luton, and I've always known everyone. Do you know what I mean? So like that was just an experience to be somewhere else. Also a humbling experience, because obviously their facilities weren't even close to what we have, sort of thing. And then my first proper loan, I went to Braintree in the conference. It wasn't for that long. I was 18 then. That was quite good. It opened my eyes to like the lower leagues even more, sort of. Obviously, I was playing against big strikers. We had some tough games as well. So we played Lincoln. Who were top of the league. They ended up getting promoted, but that was the year that they got to play against Arsenal in the FA Cup. Do you remember?
Yeah.
So like they were flying, and we had them like a week before they were playing Arsenal.
So they must have won it.
So they were obviously all trying to play for places then for that game.
Yeah.
Like, so they worked us. But I did quite well though still, and it was a good experience. Again, obviously, being around different players, different manager, different style of play, philosophies. It was like just good for me to sort of get out and see what it's like somewhere else. But then after that, my proper loans, then I went to Oxford City twice. First spell was really good. I loved it.
Yeah.
I was playing every week, did well, come back, and then the following season I went on loan to them again, and we had a good FA Cup run. And then I ended up playing against Steve McNulty in the FA Cup because he was at Tranmere. We played Tranmere.
Yeah.
We drew 3-3 away, and then we lost 2-0 at home in the replay. But that was a good experience, playing on TV and stuff like that. And then I went on loan to Hemel, which was good as well. Just like by then it was a lot more just about getting games in, and sort of because sort of since the youth team I never really got a proper run of games, because I'd be travelling around with the first team on the bench and stuff, but not playing.
Yeah.
And then I'd get to play the cup games, but then once we're out of those cups, there ain't no more games for me. Yeah. Then I'd go on loan for a bit, but I never sort of really, since youth team, I never really got a proper run of games, because I was just always like on the fringes with the first team. Like I was close to playing, but never really getting much game time. So it's been a bit stagnant really since youth team days for me, just because I've always just been sort of on the fringes of starting, but never really getting a chance. So, go on.
Do you think that like affects your growth in a sense? Because like it's like I'm here, I'm not, like, and it's just you're kind of just surviving at that point, isn't it?
Yeah, like definitely. It works in two ways, because obviously I'm training with these like some really good players every day.
Yeah.
So in that sense, I'm learning a lot. I've watched so many games that I couldn't help but learn. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But definitely, obviously, like everyone says, like you need to play games, you need to be playing, and I definitely did need to be playing. I did get loaned out for, I think my longest loan spell would have been maybe 3.5 months.
Yeah.
3.5 months maybe. But it definitely might have held me back a little bit at times, but I wouldn't have changed it because I always wanted to be. I've always wanted to be with Luton and wanted to play for Luton. So, like, if someone offered me chances to go on loan and play at the start of the season at like the clubs I went to, I probably would have rather have tried to get into the first team at Luton and start that than that. Just because like that's the club I've always wanted to play for.
Yeah.
Because I knew how close I was, sort of thing. I knew I wasn't far away, but it just obviously never really worked out in that sense. But then I did still get the chances to play these games, and then I would get regular game time, and I'd see that I'm definitely good enough to play at this level that I was going on loan to.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to sort of see what's next, and then obviously like now is really like my chance to really sort of start my career now at the new club that I'm at, and try really, because I've always sort of been I've always been like Frankie Musonda, that like the Luton player sort of thing.
Yeah.
Whereas now that I haven't got ties to the club anymore. Like now I'm on my own, and I'm at a new club with Wraith Rovers. Like this is my club now, and now it's a chance for me to really kickstart my career and like get the games I want and show to myself and everyone else what I can do.
Yeah, talk to me more about that move. Why Scotland? Why not somewhere else in England? Why not somewhere else in Europe? Why Scotland?
Sort of. Well, I definitely, after leaving Luton, I definitely didn't think I'd be playing in Scotland. It didn't really cross my mind. And then obviously I was speaking to different clubs in England and stuff, but also with like the COVID, this being the COVID period and stuff like that, there's a lot of uncertainty and stuff like that. So a lot of different clubs have different sort of situations and stuff like that. But I sort of spoke to the manager, and he really came across really well to me. I knew who Wraith Rovers were anyway before, because they're quite a big club in Scotland, and so like I was interested when my agent mentioned to me about the club, and then I did a bit more research on who's going to be in the league this season and stuff like that. So like there's teams like Dundee and Hearts in this league, Dunfermline, who's like Wraith Rovers sort of local derby, which would be like, they'll be really good games. And the amount of fans that they get to watch here is there's quite a lot. They hold quite a few thousand in each of these stadiums, like especially Hearts' stadiums like 22,000. Our stadium holds nearly 10. There's big teams here, and also in the cup competitions you get the opportunity, if you do well enough, to play teams in the Scottish Premiership.
Yeah.
But then so I came up here anyway to have a look myself, obviously, because I've never been to Scotland. So I came up here. As soon as I saw the stadium, I was like, yeah, I want to be playing in a stadium like this every week. And then spoke to the manager and the assistant even more. They sort of explained to me like their plans and what they want to do up here and stuff like that, and like I sort of just bought into it straight away. Like the way they like to work, like just like I was getting motivated just speaking to them really, and they made me feel really wanted as well. And that's sort of what I wanted to feel like, and yeah, like definitely, I'm just really excited. We had our first pre-season training session today. It was really good, like meeting the boys and stuff like that. I've been up here for a couple of weeks anyway, but because of COVID and stuff, our pre-season date got delayed a little bit.
Okay.
And the people up here are so friendly, around the club and just in Scotland in general, especially the area I'm in, just outside Edinburgh.
Yeah.
Like everyone's just really friendly and been really welcoming to me, and like I'm just really excited really at the minute to get going.
So you've only had one training session so far?
Yeah, just today.
What did you guys do? Is there any way you'd be able to see like what the level's like yet, or is it too early?
No, it's still too early, really. Obviously, first day of pre-season, obviously there's a bit of running, like how we did the yo-yo and stuff like that. But then,
I hope you won that.
nah, I came second, man.
Come on, bro. You've always been the guy at the front.
I know it's not good enough, but they're a lot stricter with their yo-yos here.
I swear.
It's like, yeah, because like when at Luton when we do it, it'd be like if you just missed the line, you get a warning. But if you've gone for like 5 or 6 more times and then missed it again, you wouldn't be out. It'd be like 2, but they're like 2 warnings, you're done, sort of thing. Two. If you miss it twice, you're out. So I came second anyway. The guy only did 1 more run than me. He didn't like go for ages, but yeah, I'm still a bit annoyed about it. But
that's a good start, though.
But yeah, so it was good. And then we did that. Then we just did ball work after that, which was really good. So, like, especially like for a coach to be getting the balls out straight away on the first day of pre-seasons, like, yeah, that's what you want, really. You want to be playing football. You don't want to be running, sort of thing.
No, you don't.
So yeah, it was good. Really enjoyed it. It was a good session. Obviously, we've got another session tomorrow. But yeah, like the lads here, all really welcoming. They seem cool. Good players. But yeah, it'll be interesting once we get the friendlies up and going, and I get to see like what we're like compared to other teams and stuff like that. Would be better to sort of gauge.
No, for sure. What are your goals going into this year? Like, obviously now, like starting off your career basically at a different place after being at Luton for basically all your life. Like, what are your goals going into the season?
Definitely, I want to be playing. I want to really get a good run of games in. Like play well, but I want the team to do well as a whole. Obviously, Raith Rovers have just got promoted to the Scottish Championship from League One, so I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure as of yet what our team goal would be, whether it would be promotion or like automatic, or if it would be playoffs or something like that. So I still need to sort of find that out. But for me personally, it'd be to get regular playing, good performances. Obviously, as many clean sheets as I can.
Yeah.
But just to be a good asset for the team, really. That's sort of my only sort of target, really, is just to help us get as high as we can in the table.
Yeah.
But yeah, like and just enjoy the experience. Like Edinburgh's a lovely city, and I want to be playing football and do as well as I can. But I also want to enjoy my time up here while I'm here, somewhere completely new to me. So I want to like go around a bit and sort of get to see a bit of Scotland while I'm up here, and not just like when I'm away from training, not just be constantly on football, just sort of enjoy life as well and see the place a bit.
No, that's important, man. I definitely realized that as my time in America, man. I just going around seeing different places because we're not used to it, innit? Like, all I knew was England before, but now, like, obviously you get a better experience, so that's very key. At the end, I always ask like a few like fire like questions in terms of like just small stuff in terms of advice and whatnot. So, how do you deal with criticism?
Well, I always take it with a pinch of salt. Like, I'm always open to criticism, but obviously it depends on what they're saying. Like, I think you've always got to listen. You've got to listen to what anyone's saying. But you've got to also sort of back yourself, and you know when something's fair and when something's not. So it's sort of just dealing, like, always listening to it and being open to listen to it. But then it's on you to sort of manage whether it's fair criticism or if it's not, sort of thing.
Yeah. How do you deal with not playing when you think you should be playing?
Just work harder, train harder. Like that's all you can do. There's like sulking and moaning about it it's never gonna help you.
Yeah.
So you just got to work harder. Even when you think you're working at your hardest, you've got to do something more. I think
Yeah.
there's always something more you can do. We all know it. So even when like I think I'm a pretty hard worker and I do most things I should be doing, but you know if there's one more thing you could be doing, you know you can be doing it. So
Yeah, true. No,
that's
you're
what I'd
right.
say.
If there was anything in your career so far that you could change just for the shits of it, what would it be?
I could change.
Yeah.
Um, hmm. Nah, I don't know if there is much I would change. I don't think there's much that I could change myself. Maybe that 50-50 on my debut. I'm not, yeah.
Oh my gosh. And if you have any advice for any youngsters who are, obviously we're both still young, but for the guys coming up, if you had any advice for them, like what would it be?
Um, I would say to definitely like I'd say enjoy your football while you're young because I think actually yeah, to be fair, with what you said about changing something, I think maybe it would have been a bit better for me to have played with my friends from back home for a bit longer before I joined Luton.
Yeah.
Just because my career at Luton, I've loved it and it's been great, but it's been professional from the age of 8. Like it's you notice it when you go back to school on like a Monday and your friends have played each other on the weekend, but I would
I
never play
know.
any of my
Yeah.
friends. And they just seem to play with a lot less pressure than I've always felt I've played under from a young age at Luton.
Yeah.
But so I'd say that to kids definitely to just enjoy it, and always sort of just always make sure you've got an idea of a backup plan. But
Yeah.
I'd say if you're going for it, go for it. Football's not always going to be there. Like
Yeah.
education will always be there. You should do it. You should obviously do it, but football's a short window.
Yeah. Yeah.
So say if that's what you want, just go for it.
No, facts. No, thank you so much for giving me your time, and I know you're a busy guy, so I really appreciate it.
No, it's cool, man.